Let's now go to the Gambia, where KEMO CONTEH, our political and international affairs analyst, is joining us to give us an appraisal of the political situation in the Gambia. Many thanks for joining us. In a region ravaged by instability, the attendance of West African heads of state in a show of solidarity, a lot of persons agree, is impressive. What's your thinking about this?
Gambians have decided in 2016 to remove this heavy-handed style of leadership, which was quite iron-fisted, and installed Barrow to power with hope and optimism that their plight would be addressed. After Barrow promised to rule for 3 years, which was later changed to 5 years, Gambian had to decide whether to bring back the same Barrow who reneged on his promise and then installed him once again. But what we saw was quite shocking, that 53% of the electorates in the Gambia decided to vote back. And then now he has promised to bring in economic development. But then in the first instance, we need to ask ourselves this question. How is the living conditions of the Gambian for the past 5 years? Has it improved or has it set back? Or what are some of the problems as far as our economy is concerned? Unfortunately, we have been seeing a rising price in the goods and services. And of course, the Barrow administration had made it very clear to the government that the government cannot do anything with it because this is a global phenomenon. And of course, we have seen the rise in unemployment in the country. Of course, many young people cannot find jobs despite the number of people that are leaving our universities as well as other tertiary institutions still struggle to find jobs. So basically what we see happening is that there's a shift in the political landscape from dictatorship to a more democratic governance. But unfortunately, this democratic dispensation is accompanied by some of the development model we want to see so that the young people in this country can, of course, strive and then make ends living.
The Commission stated that there was a 90% voter turnout. To what do we attribute this? Is it a reflection of the people's approval of the Barrow administration or more about the people's faith in the electoral process?
One is, it has to do with people's faith in the electoral process because it's the same electoral commission that had helped Gambians in terms of dispensing free, fair, and credible election for us to remove a long-term dictatorship, which was 22 years Gambia's administration from power. And Gambians still continue with that optimism and hope that the same institution will be able to conduct free, fair, and credible elections. And that hope and optimism continued or arose the attention of many to go to the ballot and cast their ballot with the hope that they're going to make changes, either to bring back Barrow or, of course, to remove him from power. But so many opposition were hopeful that Barrow will be replaced. But unfortunately, the electoral crowd have shifted to the disadvantage of most of the oppositions, and we saw Barrow being re-elected with 53% of the votes.
The President mentions the need for new development models within sustainable timelines. Do you think President Barrow is well placed to follow through these reforms?
This is going to be difficult at this point in time because his administration clearly made it to the Gambian that the rising price in goods and services is a global phenomenon, and perhaps his administration will be unable to provide any solution to this. Second, we've seen the job market being saturated. Of course, not only saturated, but there's no room at this point in time for young people to actually get better working places, of course, at better working conditions. A lot of civil servants, from the teachers to doctors, are very unsatisfied with what they are getting as their salary in this country. So if you look at the economy, even when we take it from 2020 to now, we have seen a bit of recession, which happened in 2020 when our economy was struck by coronavirus. And as a result, many tourists could not show out so that they can resuscitate our economy at that time. So the problem at this point in time has been compounded and now is becoming quite perennial. So we are seeing a bit of optimism that if he happened to bring in new breeds of leadership in his cabinet, perhaps we can change the status quo. But this is not something that many analysts are hoping. They feel that Barrow administration yet will bring in people who are just allied to him or those who are supporting him directly.
That's an unfortunate scenario should it happen. But let's still look ahead and talk about the Gambia's Truth and Reconciliation Commission report investigating past crimes under the previous government. This has been submitted to President Barrow. Does his return to office offer hope for implementation of any of the recommendations?
We've not seen any of those clauses being implemented to the latter yet. He has promised the Gambian that the Truth Reconciliations report will be implemented to the latter. But of course, we've seen many commissions that came in this country here to conduct investigation into different issues. And what we saw happening with the Janneh Commission, which was basically established to investigate into the financial dealing of the former President Jammeh. But many accuse the Barrow-led administration of doing what we refer to as a selective justice. They decided to punish others and leave other people unpunished who contributed immensely or who abetted Jammeh in executing or perhaps in committing some of those crimes. So that really also sends a signal that this this Truth Reconciliation Commission report might not also be implemented to the latter. But Barrow continued to promise that he would not compromise.
You don't seem to have a lot of optimism for this administration. What are your hopes from the new government?
We are disappointed for the fact that this is the government that we trusted from 2016 to 2021, when we were very much enchanted, of course, very strong to remove Jammeh from power. Remember, Jammeh was a dictator, countless number of Gambian, of course, sent many people to exile, including journalists. So when we took the bull by the horn, we came very strong to ensure that we remove Jammeh from power. It means we are instilling huge optimism and then confidence in Barrow administration to bring employment, to ensure that the living standard of the Gambians are improved, and many other things. But unfortunately, what we saw from 2016 to 2021 is a serious problem that many Gambians still continue to struggle in order to make ends meet. Many Gambians still continue to ensure that they are able to take care of their families. According to the World IMF, still over 62% of our population live below poverty line. So that really signals us that this administration, probably from 2022 to 2027, might not bring the needed changes or development that Gambians have been yearning for. So we are pessimistic.
Well, let's have some hope at least. Thank you very much, KEMO CONTEH, for speaking with us all the way from the Gambia.